Welcome back, art students. We are going to continue on. We are going to be coloring our pumpkin patch. So to do this, I'm going to use my coloring crayons. I'm going to grab my orange and I'm going to start coloring, but I'm going to make sure that I'm coloring very lightly. Very lightly. There are times where I might ask you to color very hard, like for example when we were drawing our black lines, but now I'm going to ask you to color lightly. So go ahead, take a moment and start coloring in your pumpkins, nice and orange. Again, you want to do this in a way that is being mindful of coloring lightly. Okay, after you color all of your pumpkins orange, including your ones in the background, go ahead and grab your green, or maybe you want to use brown. I like to use green though, because green is my favorite color. Green for the vine, green for the vine, green for the vine, green for the vine. If you want to add a little bit, mix a little bit of brown in there too, you sure can. Okay, after you do your stems, then I want you to color in the dirt. Use that brown. Again, make sure that when we're coloring lightly. There we go. And then lastly, we're gonna do our field in the background, and I'm gonna do the field back here, light green color. So there's gonna be some grass back there. This is the grass. Okay. And then I think for the background, we're gonna do sunset colors. So I'm gonna do some nice yellows. Make it look like the sun is setting back here. Nice warm sunset. And maybe that is going to blend into a nice orange color. Tie in with our pumpkins. Okay. Now that we have colored this entire thing carefully and lightly with coloring crayons, we can set our coloring crayons aside and we will grab our markers. Okay. So colors we're going to need for our markers is we're going to need green, we're going to need brown, we're going to need orange, maybe a little bit of yellow. Okay? And then we are going to need a brush and a water cup and a tissue for when we change our colors. So here we go. So to start, we're going to start with orange. We're going to draw some lines on our pumpkin with the orange marker, like this. Okay. After you draw your orange lines on your pumpkin, go ahead, get your brush wet, and you can scrub around. Do you see that? Do you see how it's starting to wash the ink around? Pretty cool. You can scrub the orange particles around a little bit. You kind of want to keep a little bit of the original marker lines there, but you can kind of have fun just scrubbing that color around a little bit. Give it a little bath. Don't use too much water. If you use too much water, it won't turn out nice. Just use a little bit of water in your brush and start blending and pushing those particles around. Okay, And we're gonna do the same thing really quick to our other pumpkins. Just a couple dots of ink, couple lines of ink, just a little, just a touch. Give it a little touch of some water. Little touch of water, little touch of water. We're good to go there. And then we're gonna do our dirt. We're gonna use brown. Follow the same lines. See, I'm following the same lines of my black crayon. Okay, and now that I'm not using orange anymore, I'm making sure I'm washing out my brush thoroughly in my water cup. And then I'm gonna use my paper towel to pull out any of that color out of my bristles. Then I'm gonna dab one more little touch of water and off I go. And just scrub it around, scrub, 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 scrub. This is really the fun part of the project, I think, in my opinion. And then go ahead, wash that out. We'll start adding our green. Green for the vine. A little bit of some green lines in there. Little green touches on the little stems. We'll do some grass texture. Notice how I'm making some fast vertical lines back here to show some grass texture. Okay. And we're gonna get our brush cleaned out. Pull out any of that brown color out of your brush, get an extra touch of water, and go to town. Start scrubbing around very lightly, very lightly. You don't want to lose all of the detail of our mark making with our markers. Okay, then we're gonna do our sunset in background, and I'm gonna really utilize this yellow back there to really give it a punch of color. So we're gonna go ahead back here, and we're gonna start adding in some yellow. And I'm actually going right over my orange area too back here, just so you know. There we go. Okay, and again, lastly, scrub of the brush, clean it out, and scrub that yellow around. All right, last thing that you need to do is you're gonna need it to dry off. So make sure that you carefully set it somewhere to dry, and then you're all done. Good job, art students. Look at that beautiful pumpkin at a pumpkin patch. Awesome job.